Alright. Pardon the flyaways. I'm doing this in my car because I'm a couple minutes away from where I need to be. And I had some thoughts on the way here. There's a bunch of crap in my car. I have a special delivery. So I had about a little bit more than 3 hour drive. So I'm tired, right? I couldn't sleep last night. And I tried to sleep, but I really just meditated for a while. I don't think that I slept more than like 15 minutes. But I did get a lot of sleep the day before. I feel fine. I'm just like kind of crabby a little bit. So I was feeling crabby on the way here. I guess just because I didn't feel like driving and I'm tired. So I listened to some talk radio, and then I was listening to some other things, and then I was like, oh yeah, church, because a friend messaged me about, and I remembered that she wanted to go to church, so I was like, go ahead and do that. And I was like, oh, I can totally stream church, like listen to it while I'm driving. So, and I love Pastor Stephen Furtick. I know a lot of people don't like big huge church people, but I don't share that opinion. I really like what he has to say. So I realized that after maybe, I don't know, 15 minutes, 20 minutes into, first, there was some music, and then 15, 20 minutes into the sermon, I realized, and I do have an attention deficit, and I know that I'm driving, and I was paying attention to driving, but I kind of think about a lot of things all at once. But then I realized that I was getting I had no idea what he was saying, but I was getting some really important messages. And then I was like, wow, that's crazy. And I was like, I didn't mean to check out of church. Not that it's not important, but I was like, I guess that wasn't and some parts were I really appreciated. I don't know what I missed, honestly. I don't know. Not saying you should check out while you're listening to church. I'm just saying I think the realization was important, because what I realized was that I felt better when I realized the whole message that I was getting, and I realized I was in a really good mood, and I was like, that's the key. That's the automatic, when it's when you raise your vibration to that point, it's just so much easier. It lifts your mood, it lifts everything, and then it's just clear messages come through. And so I think that's the message that I was supposed to get, that's when it's easiest to get it's just flow of thought, anyway. But it was about messages come through clear when you raise your vibration, and how I guess that's just how it works. I don't know how else to describe it. But then I was also thinking, when we were talking about how important your your words are, and the thoughts that you hold in your mind and your intention, because we think about the things that we're hearing. And when I've had a lot of really hard times, but one of the worst ones, like I mentioned, I was going so many years in court, and so losing everything, losing time with my son after working so hard to keep that time, and not getting to spend time with him, working so many hours, and it was just a disaster. And I was so depressed and barely hanging on. And I completely switched to Christian radio, which in the beginning, when I first started listening to it, I really hated it. I thought it was the worst music, because I was just used to different music. But then when you start to get familiar with the message that the music brings, and some of it is not terrible, it's just, I think there's resistance when you first start experiencing things that are good for you. it kind of takes you out of your comfort zone. It's not what you're used to. And now I love it. I love the message. I love the melodies. Like, I sing to myself all day long, and I don't hate the music anymore. And that happened to me too when I was, I don't know, like 16, 17, something like that. And my mother actually had given me this book. It was by the Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life. And I remember the first time I read it, it made me angry. And I was angry at this book. And I'm like, that's ridiculous, and I really was not ready to accept the wisdom in that book. And now I would recommend it to anyone. But I remember how difficult it was for me to process the information the first time around. And I don't know if it was maybe, not quite a year later, desperate for relief, I picked it up and I read through it again. And then that second time through, it really started to make sense. So I think sometimes you've got to adjust. And when you make changes in your life, it's not going to be comfortable right away, or pleasurable right away. Sometimes we have to choose. It's like, if you don't drink water and you need to start drinking water, and then eventually you start to crave it, or you don't eat a lot of vegetables and then you eat a lot of vegetables, and then your body wants foods that are, more full of water, fresher foods. So, and those things are good for you. You just don't know that if you're not doing it. So that period of listening to Christian music consistently, because it was such a positive message. When you listen to that music, there's no complaining. It's like all the sounds of gratitude and praising God and hope and relief and looking forward to something good. And those are all things that, that's the intention of that music, and that's the vibration that you get from it, and it really is very therapeutic. And I believe that was a huge part of healing my mind, to the point where I still mostly listen to Christian music. I love it so much. I love all kinds of music, but there's nothing quite like the truth. like that, especially if you resonate with that. So even I would say, even if you don't believe it, just because it's the purest source of good intention, if you're not feeling well, or if you're sick, it's worth a shot. Give it, start with a day, listen to it for a day, spread that into a week, spread it into a month, and see how you feel. Because for me, I was so, it was a dark time. I was definitely suicidal. And I needed to heal. And I didn't know what to do. And I was desperate for healing. And so Christian radio, I believe, saved my life. And like I said, it's been a long, I've had this depression, not constant, but that was a really tough time to go through. And at that time in my life, it was just relentless. There was a lot of disruption. And so I think that intention is so important, and the sounds and the images, when you hear those messages repeatedly, that's what's in your head. That's what you're thinking about. And I think it's very healing. And I think that's what I needed to realize. So I pulled over to tell you that. I love you. If that's helpful, even if it's not helpful, please share, subscribe to my channel. It means a lot to me. Even if you don't need healing, like I said, we don't know what's going on in everyone else's life, and maybe there's somebody else that needs some relief, and my intention is to heal. That's what I'm putting out. My intention is the best for everyone. So I would appreciate it if you would at least like this video, watch it all the way through, share. It helps the video to be available to more people, so that more people will see it. So even if you don't vibe with it, there might be somebody that needs it, or that even just needs to vent, and I'm always available for that. So thank you so much. I love you. Have a wonderful day.